Hi, I am back with another message, but I figured this time I would start off with a brief introduction. I noticed that my last video got shared a few times, so I decided to just share a little bit about me before I jumped into the message today. So, first things first, my name is Candace Young. I am a financial wellness coach specializing in credit repair and budgeting. So, basically, I help women uncover resources that will help them propel in their financial freedom journey. It is very near and dear to me because I grew up in a single parent household and I know what it's like to struggle. So, everything that I've learned, I just feel it's my duty to share it with the world. And just a quick plug, by the way, my podcast on money management and financial freedom does drop on May 31st. So, be on the lookout for that. But the message I want to share today is about forgiveness and discernment. And by the way, I don't have a Bible verse for you to go over. There are hundreds of Bible verses about forgiveness, but I'm just going to sort of wing it today because I had this whole message planned out. And then I came across a devotional this morning, and I'm like, we're going to talk about forgiveness. Personally, I have struggled with forgiveness in the past, whether that's family, friends, or, ex-boyfriends, whatever the case might be. I've struggled with it in the past. And the reason I struggled with it is because I felt like they did me wrong. They should apologize. I used to be very big on closure, right? Like, oh, I need to know like what happened and why, etc., etc. And these days I realized, right? Well, not these days, long time ago, but a few years ago I realized that not the lack of forgiveness is only hurting me. So while that person probably moved on and they don't really, think about what has happened between us, here I am, holding on to that anger and holding on to that and not forgiving them. Forgiveness is freedom at the end of the day. So the reason I wanted to talk about that today is because just because you forgive someone, right? And I'm gonna take a line out of my homegirl Maya's book, right? I'm from the south side of the kingdom. So just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean you need to speak to them, right? I have forgiven people that I'll never speak to again. It's nothing personal, right? It's nothing against them, but we're done, right? Your season in my life is over with. I'd have no ill will against you. In fact, I wish you the best, but I'm never going to speak to you again. Most likely, right? I mean, unless there's a dire situation that happens to come up, I'm not going to speak to you again. And I want to remind you all today that you can forgive people without necessarily having to reconnect with them, right? If they hurt you and you have healed to the point where you have forgiven them, right? Why go back and try to build a relationship? Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes Sometimes you can reconnect with someone and it can be great. And I have nothing against that. But I also want to remind you that just because you're not speaking to that person and you haven't reconnected doesn't mean you shouldn't forgive them. Forgiveness is a gift to yourself, right? So uh, I've seen shows or whatever, right? I've seen situations where people will say, hey, I forgive you. They actually say it to the person they forgive. And they think that that person is supposed to make this huge deal like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And they're disappointed when that doesn't happen. Forgiveness isn't for them. Forgiveness is for you. Forgiveness is to set yourself free from that anger, from that grudge. I'm not a grudge holding person. I let things go very easily. That doesn't mean I don't struggle with forgiveness, right? So, the reason I mentioned discernment is because you do also need to be careful of who you let back into your circle, who you let back into your energy, who you let back to have access to you, right? So, forgiveness being the gift to yourself could also be tied to separating yourself from certain people, right? Love them from a distance. You don't have to text them and reach out to them to love them. You don't have to text them and reach out to them to pray for them. Some people you let go, some people you attempt to keep the connection with. But if their season is done in your life, It's time to let it go. It's time to let go of the hurt. It's time to forgive. It's time to let go of the anger. And I know that's easier said than done, right? There are instances in my life that have taken me years to get over. But I want to share this with you today because I feel it's important for you to understand the quicker you let it go and the quicker you forgive, the happier you'll be. Forgiveness is legit the gateway to freedom. It's the gateway to self-love. You're saying, I love myself so much that I'm going to let this go and be done with it completely and go forth in a positive manner with my life. So if you are struggling with forgiveness, trust me, I want you to know that I understand. I get it. I've been there. And I want you to know that you can let it go. You can get better at forgiveness, but it's something you have to really, really practice. It's something you have to really lean into. You can't just say the words, I forgive this person. You can't just journal the words, I forgive this person. It takes internal action to actually forgive someone. Okay? When you forgive them, that means that nothing that happens between the two of you after that will affect you in a negative way because you have forgiven them. And sometimes, as I mentioned previously, you can even reconnect and have a relationship with them again. Think about people who don't meet their dads till they're adults, right? Of course, there's anger. Of course, you're harboring some sort of grudge there. But you took that step to have a relationship with this person, and mothers too, sorry. I just, grew up with my mom, so I just automatically went to, not having your fathers, but mothers too, right? Parents, family, whatever, right? Whatever it might be. Think about those instances where you could be angry, you could harbor this anger, but why? Right? It's only hurting you at the end of the day. You're not hurting the person that needs forgiveness. You're not hurting the person that you got into it with or fell out with. You're hurting you. So today, my challenge for you is to think about someone that you are harboring some sort of anger for, harboring some sort of grudge for, and begin the forgiveness process. Notice that I said forgiveness process. It's not a task. It's not something you check off your to-do list. It's a process. It's understanding that the person that they were when they did what they did it's something you need to get rid of. It's something you need to sort of move past from, right? It's all part of healing, and I know that it's difficult and I know that it's hard. But my challenge to you is to really just sit, think about it, and really, really evaluate what that grudge or anger that you're harboring, what is that doing for you positively? How is that propelling or excelling you into the future that you are manifesting in your mind? I hope you guys enjoyed this message. I'm actually going to also upload it to my YouTube channel, so don't forget to subscribe there. And I thank you guys again so much for listening. Be blessed. I hope you guys have a wonderful day.